AFR On Demand is brought to you by Breck Golf. Try Beaver Creek today, just 20 minutes from downtown Baton Rouge in the Zachary area. They've got a PGA Tour driving range, a short game practice area, 30 to 40-yard practice shots. It's a great place to chip and putt and practice if you don't have time for a full round. Book your tee time today, golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org.
Off and running hour number 3 after further review. Here on a Monday, presented by Relief Windows. Musso in for Moscona. Our guy's taking one more day. Make sure he's fully recovered before making the triumphant return here to AFR. Been a joy hosting the show today. One more hour to go. We've been jam-packed. Wall-to-wall Saints and LSU. That continues here. Saints, 2 practices over the weekend out there in Metairie. Ross Jackson, he was there for all of it, joins us here today, even on an off day. We're happy to welcome on Ross Jackson.
Butter toast?
Ross, how are you?
Let's go. I'm doing great, man. No off days.
No off days. Just all gas, no breaks for our guy, Ross Jackson. Of course, get him on Twitter, X, at Ross Jackson, NOLA. Read his stuff, LouisianaSports.net. Subscribe and listen to the Locked On Saints podcast. Ross, I have a lot that I want to ask you actually about the 2 practices, but let's start kind of with the news of the day, and that being the Saints are hosting Terrion Arnold.
Yeah.
Well, that's interesting given his current predicament, but they're not the only team. Just your immediate reaction to the Saints bringing him in here on Monday?
Yeah. I think the Saints are interested, like the other teams are, in kind of getting the other side of this story. I mean, look, it's always going to draw eyes and draw attention when you bring in a guy that's got 8 total felony counts of, armed robbery and kidnapping and an arraignment this Thursday and everything. The Saints, amongst these other teams, the Seahawks, Colts have been kind of tied to them, Chargers, Texans. They want to bring people in and kind of get the other side of this stuff as well. And we'll kind of see where things go. And if he ends up being cleared and everything ends up being good, green light, then all of a sudden, this is a former first-round pick that's out there available to sign wherever he wants. And my understanding is that he would be pretty interested in New Orleans, especially with his former college teammate, Kool-Aid McKinstry, also in that defensive backfield. And so I think teams are just wanting to kind of get the other side of this and get a look at it just in case he does become, available, because look, this is a guy right now that's carrying charges that could carry a life sentence if convicted. Like, it's pretty crazy. And so if that ends up not being the case and he ends up being available, he ends up being a big get for a team. And obviously that's a life-changing situation for him.
You mentioned the arraignment on Thursday, and look, I mean, he's already had a court appearance regarding this case. I mean, it feels like a trial is going to happen at some point through this. Like, he'll have his day in court. What does that mean for a potential timeline? This doesn't feel like anything that's imminent, even potentially this season. How far in the future are we talking here if he's acquitted of all charges?
Yeah, that's exactly right. This is something that probably is not he has an arraignment and then all of a sudden everyone knows what the future is right after that. This is a long play situation that would likely end up in a trial. And then if he ends up being, acquitted and ends up having no charges levied against him, then all of a sudden he becomes available. But the timeline of that is so entirely hard right now to look ahead to. That's why a lot of these teams are trying to get the visits in with him now, because once he undergoes this legal process, it's going to become very tricky to get him into an NFL building. And so with all of that taken into consideration in terms of a timeline on it, it's completely fluid because we have no idea how long any of this is going to take and how many, court appearances there will truly be and all these other things. Like there's a lot that has to kind of go with all this. And so tough to say exactly what a timeline is, but I think that's one of the reasons why you're seeing a lot of teams that are trying to bring him in now and then get his side of things so that if he is indeed kind of cleared of these charges, they will know the information that they feel that they need to know so that they could act quickly at that point. When that point is remains to be seen.
We'll obviously continue to monitor that. Let's move to the on-the-field stuff, Ross. Dylan Radins tore his ACL over the weekend. To use Kellen Moore's phrase, that's a bummer. How significant is that? That's a big depth piece, feels like. How significant is that for the New Orleans Saints going forward on their offensive line?
Yeah, that's exactly right. That's a huge depth piece for New Orleans. I mean, that's not a guy that impacts probably your top 5 out there right away, but I mean, that's a guy that was number 6 on the list when it came to your offensive line. And, look, this is a guy that is a former starter in the NFL that has really, really good training going all the way back to his North Dakota State University days, is a player that can back up both guard spots and both tackle spots as well. That's a big piece to lose. And so it wouldn't surprise me if that ends up leading to some tryouts for some guys to come in and visit and get a look on the offensive line as the Saints try to figure out what they've got here. And I mean, they effectively just lost their number 6, their 6th man, right? Like their 6th man on the offensive line. And that's a pretty tough pill to swallow already at this point in the season, or off season rather.
In the immediacy, I mean, 'cause I'm with you. I mean, I expect to see tryouts, and I would expect them to definitely sign somebody, even if it's just a camp, a camp body to help you get through this. But in the immediacy, I know a lot of people are going to point to Jeremiah Wright now, interior offensive lineman, obviously draft pick, but he's dealing with his own injury, the shoulder. Sherman, I saw in your practice report, Sherman went in when Ravens went down because they were playing Ruiz over there at second team center. How big of an opportunity, I guess, is this for Jeremiah Wright if he can get back on the field healthy here?
Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty big opportunity for him. He's been really, really focused at right guard. And so, he doesn't have the versatility necessarily, or I don't want to say he doesn't have the versatility, but he doesn't have the cross training that a guy like Dylan Radins has at an NFL level just yet. It's probably more likely that guys like Will Sherman, Awesome Richards, maybe even Xavier Truss end up being guys that would be those taps to move around while Jeremiah Wright continues to develop, and his focus has been on a singular position. But as soon as he's back out on the football field, obviously he becomes a really valuable piece, asset development, when it comes to that guard spot. But when you're looking at, who's the guy that you're going to bring in as the 6th offensive lineman, and the rare times now that the Saints use a 6th offensive lineman, that's probably a veteran player. When you look at kind of the swing guards, back up at left guard, all those other things, Jeremiah Wright's probably not in that immediate conversation just yet. They're going to go to those other veteran guys. But those are all guys I just named, Sherman, Awesome Richards, Will Sherman, Awesome Richards, and Xavier Truss, who the Saints acquired during the offseason / preseason just last year. And so the Saints have already proven that starting mid-August, they have no problem going to the market to go and see, kind of what's out there. So names like Mekhi Becton, who of course already has some connection with Kellen Moore, both most recently in Philadelphia. A guy like Kevin Zeitler as well, who's a 200-plus starter in the NFL, 200-plus start player in the NFL. Like those guys, all of a sudden, probably become a little bit more possible from the free agent side of things too.
Talking with Ross Jackson, LouisianaSports.net, Locked On Saints podcast. Get him on Twitter, X at Ross Jackson NOLA. All right, Ross, looked like Jordan Tyson had a pretty eventful weekend and kind of like there's no more restrictions there for the Saints' first-round draft pick.
Yeah, it certainly feels like it, man. He's getting a lot more involved. Ball's finding its way over to him a lot more right now, and he's not just working on the inside at slot. They're getting him a little bit more involved on the perimeter, so that's only going to open up more opportunities and a larger number of snaps for him as well. And so he has been explosive. He's been every bit as billed since he came in here, but now you're finally really starting to see it take shape over the course of this past weekend. I think this was the time that we expected this to all kind of ramp up and get together. The Saints have one last installation practice, that's tomorrow. And then all of a sudden they're starting to get ready for the game. So I think you're going to continue to see those opportunities tick up for him. And it seems that the more opportunities that he gets, the more plays he makes. So he's been a lot of fun to watch here over the course of the past weekend. I know it's a name that Saints fans have been waiting to see some highlights of, and they're starting to roll in.
Yeah, it looked like the offense pretty much kind of dominated the day Saturday, started to, and then the defense bounced back. Would you say that was kind of more maybe Sunday's practice? Was that the most balanced maybe you'd seen so far through the two units so far in training camp?
Yeah, there was a little bit more counter punch on Sunday. Typically, we've seen kind of one side of the ball run the day, and on Sunday it was an early start for the offense, and then all of a sudden the defense started to take over when they got into situational moments, but then the offense still found kind of these little explosive moments throughout the rest of the practice to kind of punch back a little bit. And so we saw a little bit of a back and forth, probably a little bit more of a balanced day than what we're accustomed to seeing. And so with that, I think that on Sunday was like a massive day.
We got to see both kickers over the weekend. How's that competition going?
Yeah, it's probably a little bit tighter than you would expect, and it's a little bit tighter for the reasons that you wouldn't necessarily want. Both of these kickers so far have had a number of days in which they've missed multiple kicks each, and that has been a little bit of what's kept this conversation a bit more tight in a way that you wouldn't necessarily have expected at this point.
All right, Ross, one more for you. Saints, they play preseason football this weekend, which means they'll have joint practices with the Jacksonville Jaguars this week.
Wild.
It is wild. It's also fantastic. Football's back every weekend now until February. This is great. This is what we live for, Ross. But
yep,
we'll get your take on all the joint practices. But I guess here at the start of the week, leading into them, what are you hoping to see when the Saints and Jags square off in Metairie in camp?
Yeah, I mean, I think that teams, when they get the opportunity, and players in particular, when they get the opportunity to kind of go into these joint practices, they really revel in the idea of being able to go at an unfamiliar opponent. And it's not that every player learns exactly what the guy opposite him is going to do or what the offense is going to do or what the defense is going to do. It's just you get a little bit routine and all of that, and then now you get the opportunity to kind of be a little bit more physical, and now you know nothing about what the other side is about to throw at you. And so there's no understanding of these little nuances and things like that. And so that ends up creating a bit of more of a competitive environment. I think that the corners are going to be tested quite a bit over the course of these practices. They've got Travis Hunter and Brian Thomas Jr. to match up with the Jags. They'll see CeeDee Lamb and George Pickens with the Cowboys. They'll see Puka Nacua and Devontae Adams with the Rams. I think that's going to be a really, really good proving ground for those young cornerbacks. I think on the flip side, the New Orleans Saints offense is going to see three pretty strong defenses in the process of all of this as well, one of which that might or might not include Aaron Donald. We'll figure it out maybe by then. And so with all of that, I think that this is just a good opportunity for the Saints to get a good barometer of where they are on both sides of the ball, and in particular with the young talent. It's good exposure for everybody and helps you be able to kind of get them going up against unfamiliar opponents in a more controlled environment, as opposed to a game where, you might be taking a little bit more risk in certain cases.
He is Ross Jackson, LouisianaSports.net, all of it free, all the time, and the most comprehensive practice report you'll find anywhere. It's written by this guy right here, Ross Jackson. Locked on Saints, of course, as well, and on Twitter X at Ross Jackson Nola. Ross, we appreciate it, man, as always, and we'll talk to you tomorrow after practice.
Absolutely, buddy. Thank you so much. You take care, stay safe. Talk to you soon.
Absolutely. Of course, that is Ross Jackson. This is After Further Review here on a Monday. Our show, of course, brought to you by Relief Windows, Musso in for Moscona. And in addition to all of that, we are also brought to you by Evamore.
Brought to you by Evamore. Drink Evamore, EVAMOR, Evamore.com, Evamore.com. For elite athletes, for someone who just wants a healthier lifestyle. Maybe you're a parent, you want a healthier option for your children. Evamore is a great option. I would highly encourage you, bottom line, if you're drinking tap water, don't. Bare minimum, filter your tap water. But the best option is Evamore. This is natural artesian water. It's underground aquifers on the north shore of Lake Pontchartrain, right there in Covington. They dug a well into that aquifer, and I mean, it's literally thousands of years in the making. That's why they call it Mother Nature's masterpiece. That's what they're pulling out of the ground. The only filtration is take the sediment from the ground out of the water, and it goes right into the bottle. So it never touches air until you uncap it, take that first delicious sip. Learn more where you can buy it, great retailers or online, EVAMOR, Evamore.com.
All right, we'll grab a break. Here on Monday, the media, the LSU beat, got their first chance to speak with quarterback Sam Leavitt. We've been sprinkling in some of that all throughout the show. Leavitt's updates on his health, the portal process, Lane Kiffin's airport visit to Sam Leavitt, all of that mixed in. If you missed any of it, you can get it on demand. AFR On Demand presented by Breck Golf, golf.breck.org, YouTube, podcast, wherever you get, all of our post-production that we do. You can find it all there. Some really interesting conversations. When we get back, though, we'll sprinkle a little bit more in. He was really impressive today. Let you hear more from LSU's quarterback, give you some more kind of overarching takeaways. That's next here on AFR.
After Further Review.
Brought to you by Glow Resources. If you are a business owner, if you're an HR manager, a VP, an ops manager, if you're the person in charge of hiring at your job, at your place of business, and you're having trouble finding the right people, you need Glow Resources. And I want to remind you, Glow Resources, they're exceptional. when it comes to skilled blue-collar workers and also white-collar divisions. Remember, Glow Resources has a full professional placement division. So we're talking about office administrators, executive-level assistants, assistant controllers, plant managers, scheduling assistants, basically any type of office job. Accounting, HR, marketing, managerial, supervisor roles. If you're having trouble finding those people and sometimes hard to fill roles, Glow Resources specialize. They recruit nationwide. For example, they had a Baton Rouge company that was looking for an engineer. They found the employee in Florida to work the job in California. It's Glow Resources. Check them out online today. GLO, glowresources.com. Our Lady of the Lake, championship health partner of LSU Athletics. Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, as we say, together we roar. Part of the Franciscan Missionaries of Our Lady Health System. And, I love telling you about Our Lady of the Lake because whenever we talk about healthcare, Our Lady of the Lake understands the two things primarily that people want are access and convenience. And they knock that out of the park. Whether it be at the Regional Medical Center, if it's the Lake After Hours, if it's any of the specialty services that you may need, heart, stroke, cancer, pediatrics, you want the best. You want Our Lady of the Lake. You can learn more about the Championship Health Partnership, OLOLRMC.com/LSU, OLOLRMC.com/LSU. Our Lady of the Lake and LSU, together we roar.
Sam Leavitt met with reporters for the first time as the LSU quarterback here on Monday. Fascinating conversation with Sam Leavitt for the 10 to 11 minutes or so that he was up at the podium speaking to the assembled media here that covers LSU. Talked about his health. We touched on that earlier in the show. The portal process, Lane Kiffin's airport visit to him up in Knoxville, just an awful lot. And really, I was kind of just scratching the surface with everything that Sam Leavitt spoke about today. I'll let you hear a little bit more from him, kind of give you some takeaways just on Sam Leavitt, my impressions of him, but also his relationship that he's building with the offensive staff. But before we do that, Leavitt, in earlier clips that we've played on the show when he was talking about portal process and all that, he expressed such happiness that this was the decision that he made, that he chose LSU, that he chose Louisiana. And he was asked here, on Monday about his experiences in Louisiana so far.
The people are great in Louisiana. The passion, just walking down the street is pretty incredible. Just, the way that they love the state and put on for the state, it just makes you want to be here even more. People around the facility just showing so much love to Baton Rouge and the entire area. It's just been a blessing being out here. I'm from Oregon, so Louisiana kind of felt almost fake to me in a way. I didn't think it was a real place. But after being out here, I just love the trees, and I've always wanted to be in the South. The humidity obviously was something I had to get used to, but I love it now. I love the way it makes my skin feel and, everything like that. So it's been amazing.
Sam Leavitt and I do not share the same love for the humidity, but Sam, I'm with you, bud. I've lived here my entire life. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge. And there's some days where I'm still not convinced that Louisiana is even a real place. It is one of a kind, and there are some head-scratching things here, but there are also things that you just can't help but love. And I thought that was a fantastic answer from Leavitt. And man, look, we say it so many times. If you embrace Louisiana and its uniqueness and its feeling of not necessarily being a real place all the time, it's going to love you back. And it looks like Sam Leavitt's already feeling that and already embracing the city and the state as well, and that's only going to serve him better as he continues his journey here as the LSU quarterback. There's countless examples we could go through on guys who have embraced this place and it loving them back. If you look from an LSU standpoint, Joe Burrow, right? The Senior Day thing, all of that, man. Joe still has foundation events here, so that's one of the things. But yeah, Sam, that's there are times where you look around and you go, is this a dream? Is this real life? What's happening here right now? Some of it's for the good. A lot of it's some of it's for the good, some of it's for the bad, and a lot of in between there with the state. But man, it is one of a kind and unique. So love hearing that from Sam Leavitt. He also was asked about organizing the workout with the receivers over there in Dallas in the middle of last week. Or I should say,
Yeah, it was,
2 weeks ago.
A thought process I had coming into the year. It's something I've always wanted to do. Hop on a PJ, go with the guys, go train. And shout out to Gordon for making it happen. Went and trained and put in some good work with Jeff Christensen. Learned some things. Got to go spend quality time with them. See them, in a little different scenarios. When you wake up in the same, we just rented an Airbnb, so we woke up in the same house. It's kind of different being in a situation like that versus just hanging out with them on the regular. Because you see how people are when maybe their social battery's out and they don't want to talk to people or everything like that. But it really created a tighter bond with us, and I was just very grateful to be able to do that with them before the fall camp popped out, and it's just going to blossom from their relationships. So it's a great time in my life.
Sam, I'm going to agree with you again, man. I've also always wanted to hop on a PJ with the boys and just go have a time somewhere. You and I, Sam, we have a lot in common. But all kidding aside, that answer really speaks to the leadership, right? Throughout the show, we've touched on maturity, the cerebral aspects of Sam Leavitt that you were really able to pick up on. But right there, leadership. You hear all the time, player-led workouts in the summer. That's here. Now, college players are afforded the opportunity to do what NFL players do. Look at Tyler Shuck and the Saints and Drew Brees and the Saints for him. Fly out to San Diego, spend some time there, team building, bonding, and a lot of training, working out, getting to know your teammates, getting to know their tendencies and whatnot. And I love that he mentioned off the field. They rented an Airbnb. You get to wake up the same place with your guys, maybe see them when they're spent, how they go about their business. All of that is so valuable when it comes to on the field reps. It's not just getting continuity, running routes and knowing where your guy's going to be throwing the ball. It's everything else that goes into that. The teams that have the most success, more often than not, are the teams that like each other an awful lot and that get along. And for him to have the forethought, the leadership, and the ability in this day and age in college football to actually be able to put that together and execute it and go work with a high-level coach like Jeff Christensen, who's Patrick Mahomes' personal private quarterback coach, to be able to make all of that happen with his teammates, the forethought, the leadership, it's everything that you want. It's everything that you want in your starting quarterback. And for a guy at that point in his career already to know this is a really important point of the process, is getting to know these guys, not just on the field, their tendencies on the field, but the tendencies off the field. And you can go and you can have outings and explore a city and, just get to know your teammates on a completely different level. That's massive. And I love that Sam Leavitt took the initiative to go do that. And again, with the means that he now has available to make that happen. The other really interesting thing, and both Leavitt and Kiffin touched on this, was Sam Leavitt building the relationship with the offensive staff. And I want to start with Kiffin here. We'll start with Kiffin number 12, because Lane was asked about Leavitt's relationship, not just with Charlie Weiss Jr., but also with himself.
Yeah, I think that Charlie and Sam have done a great job. They have a great relationship. I think that in our projection or kind of trajectory of how it happens, usually that happens first when they get here. There's more interaction with his position coach like that or play caller. And then I feel like mine comes more in the fall now with them, and just kind of over time as we've gotten the transfers over the years, that's just kind of how it's projected. So those guys are doing really well, communicating really well, which is extremely important with the helmet communication. There's a lot of things that have to get worked out in that didn't have to happen in communication between two guys, back and forth both ways. So it's really important.
A couple things there. Number one, doesn't that just speak more toward, even more to what we've talked about of how much this is Charlie Weiss's deal now, that he runs it. And Lane is quick to point that out at any opportunity that he gets, that Charlie's offense, he calls the plays, he runs the meetings, all of those things. And to where, okay, right now, yeah, it's mainly Sam and Charlie. Let them work everything out. I come in a little bit later. More in fall camp, more in the season. Talked about the helmet comm. That's the other thing. There's more to work out there. We have talked a bunch already in a very short amount of time about Lane Kiffin and his staff's use with the helmet comp, where it was Brooks Austin, who was on the show with Matt at Media Days, who told the story of like Lane used to whistle on the sideline all the time. He'd see something, whistle to get the quarterback's attention, change something, and go. Now he doesn't have to do that. He can just pull the mic down, and Charlie can pull the mic down, one of them, tell them what they see, change it up that way, just communicate them, and you go. So, like, that part is all really, really intriguing into the relationship aspect of this between Lane Kiffin, his staff, and his quarterback. Lane continued. He was asked a follow-up about his role with the quarterbacks now that Charlie, runs it all offensively.
Charlie does most of it. Mine will be more as we get closer to games and certain plays in certain situations, or handling emotions of the game or situations in the game, because I'm down there and Charlie's up, so I can be in front of him.
Fascinating how that dynamic has changed, because, I mean, again, we all think of Lane Kiffin as this quarterback guru and coach. And look, I mean, he is. Like, we're not dismissing that. I mean, I sat here earlier in the show and told you I'm never going to worry about quarterback play ever again as long as Lane Kiffin's the head coach at LSU, because they'll always figure it out. But to hear him just, again, how much of this actually is Charlie, and now, I mean, Lane Kiffin basically, what he told you there is, I'm involved, but really it's game days where I can go down there and manage the emotions of the quarterback, like have the relationship that way. More of a head coach, not necessarily, hey, I'm your OC, I'm your play caller, I'm your quarterback coach. Like, it's much more of level head, keep it going. Like, you're fine. Get that throw. We can manage this together. Here's what we'll do. Here's the plan. And just kind of act like, to me, it sounds more like middleman between, Weiss and the quarterback when the game's going on and Weiss is in the booth and the quarterback's on the field. That's fascinating. And then Sam Leavitt, also naturally with Kiffin speaking first and being asked that, Sam Leavitt was asked about building the relationship with Charlie Weiss and the rest of the offensive staff.
Just building the relationship with the guys upstairs in the office. I think they really see my passion for the game, and I see theirs. I'd say this staff, is probably the hardest working staff I've been around, and it's a blessing for me to be held accountable in that way and just constantly grind. Like I just keep saying, we've been grinding, because that's really what it's been. It's been a grind since I got here in January. So just being around them and them seeing my work ethic and me seeing theirs, I think the relationship just blossoms from there, and winning helps a little bit as well.
I don't know how you can hear everything that we played and not just feel great about Sam Leavitt as your quarterback. I mean, that guy, and look, he's got to go perform on the field. I get that. But there is a track record of great success for him when he's healthy. And he is 100% healthy now by his admission, by Lane Kiffin's admission. Like, we know that. But to listen to how thoughtful and cerebral he was today, how mature he came across today as well, and then the leadership aspect we touched on with the Dallas trip, I couldn't be more impressed with Sam Leavitt after his first media availability. Now, again, got to go well on the field, but when you haven't played a game yet, and that's what you're hearing from your quarterback, blown away from Sam Leavitt and everything we heard from him today as he embarks on his first season as LSU's starting quarterback. We'll continue to watch it all throughout fall camp, and ultimately LSU, they'll tee it up, kick it off September 5th, Saturday night in Death Valley against the Clemson Tigers. All right, we'll grab a break. We will come back on the other side. Interesting injuries are a thing in the NFL, and the Saints' first opponent of the year, they were dealt an unfortunate blow. We'll get you a little bit of update there and continue. We still have to get to Otter Locks as well. Stick around. It's Monday's AFR presented by Relief Windows.
After further review.
Let's Rev, R-E-V, letsrev.com, letsrev.com. You ever just get super frustrated at super slow internet? Oh, we've all been there, man. The little spinning wheel, slamming your keyboard or your mouse, pounding the desk because it's so frustrating. Your internet's so slow. Storm comes, knocks the power out, knocks the internet out, knocks the cable out. You're so frustrated. Maybe that's just me because I get kind of angry about things. But it's annoying. Nobody wants that to happen. Rev can help. They're local and 5 gigs, lightning fast speeds, and backed by an all-fiber network. Fiber. It's buried under the ground. I mean, you don't have to worry about a storm coming knocking the power lines down. Let's Rev. Listen, more than 70,000 Louisiana homeowners and business owners trust Rev. You should as well. REV.com. EV. 90 years of local experience. Let'sRev.com. Let'sRev.com. Brought to you by Shawbills Tire and Auto Service, ShawbillsTire.com. 18 locations in South Louisiana. Find the location nearest you at ShawbillsTire.com. Bumper-to-bumper auto service and name brand tires at wholesale prices. They will always find a way to get you the best possible price for the best possible tires on the road. That's what they do at Shawbills. And when they get you in by selling you the best tires at the cheapest price possible, they're going to treat you like family, and they're going to treat you so good you're going to keep coming back year after year after year every time you need anything for your vehicle. Tires rotated, oil change, check engine light on, brakes squeaking, whatever's wrong with your vehicle, bring it to Shawbills. Let them give it the once-over, and you can always schedule online, so it's convenient. ShawbillsTire.com. Find the location nearest you at ShawbillsTire.com. Shop tires online at ShawbillsTire.com. Be sure to ask about the Shawbills credit card as well, because you can save $50 off your first purchase when you use the Shawbills credit card only at Shawbills.
And you look around the NFL, and this has been a dreadful offseason for injuries in training camp. I mean, you just look here at the Saints. Brian Brzee, ACL, out for the year. This past weekend, Dylan Radins, ACL, out for the year. Look at the Carolina Panthers. They've lost 2 players for the season already over there. I mean, it is all across the NFL. NFL's got a training camp injury problem. They need to do something about that. But there's only so much you can do. You still have to tackle and do all those things. But it's those non-contact ones, man, that's been really tough to watch here so far in the offseason. And no one's immune to it. I mean, we just gave you 2 answers and 2 examples. And again, there's plenty more. And now it's impacted the Saints' first opponent of the season. So New Orleans will open the year up at Detroit against the Lions second weekend in September. And there's 2 injuries to monitor. One guy, Detroit will be without, and this is significant, and that is their starting center, Cade Mays. Dan Campbell, when he met with reporters, noted that it was a wrist injury for Mays and that he would miss, quote, a significant period of time. Ian Rappaport came up behind that and mentioned that Mays fractured a small bone in his wrist and is expected to miss 8 to 10 weeks. So the Detroit Lions will not have their starting center when the New Orleans Saints head up there to open the season week 1. That's significant. We all know how significant it is to lose a center. Now, if you're Detroit, you have plenty of opportunity here. It happened early enough in camp to get your guys ready to go. But when you look at how this offseason went around Cade Mays, they targeted him because the Lions' offensive line was banged up and then flat out not really good a year ago. They targeted Mays to come in and be the center. And that's a guy who has appeared in 52 games. This is a 6th-round pick out of Tennessee, by the way. Appeared in 52 games, 27 starts at both guard and center, but primarily center the last couple of seasons in Carolina to the tune of 20 starts. I mean, he's made 20 starts at center the last 2 years. Like, this is an established guy. That's why he was targeted, and they'll be without him for the first 8 to 10 weeks, including the game against New Orleans. They'll try Juice Scruggs, which is a fantastic name. He's out of Penn State. Seth McLaughlin and Michael Nice in there as well, and see which one of those 3 can best fill that position before the Saints come to town. We'll see if they also add anybody. But that's significant. So the Lions will be without their starting center when the Saints head up there September 13th to face off against Detroit. The other injury is to running back Isaiah Pacheco. So Pacheco, according to Dan Campbell, dealing with an MCL sprain and will miss some time. Campbell did say he expects Pacheco to return before the week 1 matchup against the New Orleans Saints. Quote, he's quote, not concerned when it comes to that injury. That's a little bit of good news for the Lions. Maybe a bit of misfortune. I mean, I guess you could say. I don't want to say that when it comes to injuries, right? We all wish these guys healthy careers and speedy recoveries, but when you look at the Saints, it's like, well, he'll be back. But then again, if you're the Saints and you look at this and you go, yeah, Jahmyr Gibbs still there. He's healthy. He's fine. All right, cool. Then it's fine. But Pacheco would be a nice change of pace there with Jahmyr Gibbs, and he is expected to be fine and back before they open the season. But Cade Mays not. Interesting things to monitor while you expect Pacheco back. Keep an eye on it as we get closer and closer to the start of the regular season and see if that doesn't progress one way or another there. Hopefully, obviously, you wish for Pacheco it progresses the correct way and he's in healthy, ready to go and can play a full season. But if not, that heavy's the load on Jahmyr Gibbs even more. If you're the Lions, he just got paid, highest paid running back in the league. That'd be more of a hit to their depth. But just two things right there to file away when you look at this. Saints Lions week 1 getting closer and closer, September the 13th. Not just your team when it comes to injuries. I know sometimes it feels like that. It's just like, my goodness. I mean, look, I said earlier, the Saints offensive line is cursed. But it's like, it's all around the league, man. Everybody deals with it, and everybody deals with it this time. I'd love to see if there's something that could be done to prevent the non-contact soft tissue things in NFL training camps. That's just brutal. To see as many as we've seen, especially ACLs here so far in training camp. All right, we'll grab a break. We'll come back on to the other side. It's a Monday edition of AFR presented by Relief Windows. When we get back, we'll wrap things up with the Otter. Find out what we're betting on. Otter Locks is next. It's AFR.
AFR.
Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. If you've been injured and it's not your fault, do what injured people in Louisiana have done for more than 30 years. Call Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. 888-8888. It's all 8s. 888-8888. I don't even need to give you the area code because no matter where you are in the state, it doesn't matter. Just dial 888-8888 for Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. Gordon does an awesome job, man. He's a great person. They've been so invested in our communities with all the charitable and service work that they do. They give back into the communities that they represent, no matter what time of year. If it's the bike giveaway for kids around Christmas time, if it's the laptop giveaway around back to school time, if it's the charitable work they do during October for Breast Cancer Awareness Month, they're always involved in the community. We tell you all the time, of course, about the G team and what Gordon's done with NIL and the opportunities that he's afforded student athletes. Just a great, great community partner. If you've been injured, you need representation, go to getgordon.com. That's getgordon.com. Get Gordon and get it done. Need a steel building? Proform Steel. I want you to remember the name. Why use Proform Steel? Well, I got tons of reasons. Here's a few. How about the lead times? 6 to 8 weeks from signed contract out the door. They'll get it to you quicker. Free delivery on every building. You buy it from them, they'll deliver it for free. It's Proform Steel. You can even order online. You can pick the style, size, color, doors, submit the form, get a call back the same day. And at Proform Steel, they use American-made materials on everything. No exceptions. It's Proform Steel. Maybe you need a shed in your backyard. Maybe we're talking about a big industrial facility. Need a steel building? You want Proform Steel. Make sure you call Brandon Golson, you know the name, at Proform Steel. Check them out, Proform Steel.
After further review, presented by Relief Windows. Windows, doors, siding, and oh, we do shutters too.
All right, back here after further review, closing out a Monday edition of the show presented by Relief Windows. Musso in for Moscona here. Having a little issue connecting with Jimmy Ott. We're going to keep trying him. Hopefully he hops on. You can see on Louisiana Sports Time, we got a 5-pack in Major League Baseball tonight, including a pretty massive underdog that Otter's throwing out there as well. So hopefully we can connect with Jimmy and get some of those picks. Of course, LouisianaSports.net, always free. Otter Locks posted around 3:30 or so. You want to get in there, get some of the early action. Although, we got a late slate in MLB tonight, so all these haven't started. So we'll get to that. Hopefully we can connect with Jimmy. But in the meantime, we're brought to you by Parrish Construction and Roofing.
Brought to you by Parish Construction Roofing, parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com. Tell you every day, do business with someone you know. That's me and Terrio and Richard Tilley and Joe Morales and Trent Davis and our whole staff. And we appreciate everyone so much who's giving us the opportunity. Our commercial roofing manager, Matt Pearson, sent us all a text that we were just awarded a large commercial roofing job today, and they heard us talking about it. And yes, of course, at your home, any roof repair, replacement, we love to help you out. We can install gutters for you. We do soft wash, do all of it. But I want to remind you that we are a commercial roofing company as well. So if your commercial building needs a new roof or repair, you have any issues whatsoever, we have the best guy. We went and scoured the world and found Matt Pearson in Florida, and we brought him to Baton Rouge. I'm convinced there's not a soul alive that knows more about commercial roofing than Matt Pearson. So if your commercial building is having any roof issues, roof repair, replacement, or you just need options, trust me, have a conversation with Matt Pearson. We'd love to help you out. Parishbuilt.com, parishbuilt.com.
All right, still trying to connect with Jimmy here for Otter Locks. Great show here today, man. Appreciate Ross Jackson for hopping on. And we were wall-to-wall football here with LSU returning to the practice field today. Lane Kiffin, Sam Leavitt meeting with the reporters. That was fantastic. As well as Lane Kiffin himself meeting with the reporters. And so, I mean, if you missed any of it, AFR On Demand, Brett Golf, podcast, YouTube, however you get it, AFR On Demand, go check it out. We had a jam-packed show here for you today. Okay, looks like we got Otter, so let's go ahead. We'll do Otter Locks.
What do you say? You got me?
I got you, Jimmy.
Okay.
I got you. How's it going?
Oh, good, man. Good. Let's get right to it. Start off with Boston in Toronto. Very favorable pitching matchup here for Boston. Sonny Gray has been really good down the stretch. Tyon has really been getting hit hard. So don't want to lay the big number on the road. We're going to lay 1.5 plus 109 with the Red Sox.
Otter, I'm fired up to see you finally coming around on the Red Sox. I've been telling you, man. I'm like, look, Otter, this team, they got something to them. I'm glad I convinced you. I'm glad.
Your confidence was at apex when there were 14 games under 500. So.
Can you blame me, Otter? All right. What else we got?
Astros looking to bounce back. After getting swept at Petco in San Diego. We got them on the road late at San Francisco. Phillies, one of the underachieving teams this year, but, and they're fine when Wheeler, Painter, or Luzardo starts. But anybody else than that, it's been rough. And then we're going to fade Painter tonight. Painter's got an ERA. Well, his numbers are just really not good. St. Louis plus money at home, with there, and almost would recommend the over in that game as well. Milwaukee, Logan Henderson out of Lafayette. He has been outstanding this year and last. He keeps trying to fit into that rotation. That's probably why they let go of one of their pitchers before the trade deadline. The Brewers, we know about the best record in the National League. Give us the Brewers minus 110 on the road there. 2.7 ERA, under one whip. For the Milwaukee Brewers, right-hander from Lafayette, Louisiana. And then we're going to take a shot. Big dog here going against the Dodgers. Tarek Skubal, he threw 6 innings in his loss, his only start for the Dodgers since he was picked up from the Tigers. That's what they're probably going to go with him again tonight. Expect 6. The bullpen has been struggling as of late. Cameron, for Kansas City as well, he is on fire. Last 23 innings pitched, he's allowed 1 run. So 8 and 7 innings in that stretch. They blew the game for him, did the bullpen last time. I mean, we know about Bobby Witt Jr. coming back, sparking that lineup for the Royals. Royals plus 245 on the money line tonight against the Dodgers, who've lost 8 of 9.
That's up to 259 now as well.
There
so an even bigger fish there with Kansas City. Fading Skubal, I like it. So we got the Astros on the money line, the Red Sox on the run line, Cardinals plus money on the money line, Brewers, and then the big one, Kansas City plus 259 right now, posing against Skubal and the Dodgers. Where are you tomorrow, Otter?
We're at Mike Anderson's on Lee, just off of Nicholson.
Y'all get over there, check out the guys. Live at lunch, 11 to 1 here on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge. Otter, we appreciate it, man. Good luck. We'll talk to you tomorrow.
Okay.
All right, it is Jimmy Ott. Those are your Otter Locks. Again, Astros, money line. Red Sox, I should say, on the run line. They're not playing the A's, so you should be good. And then Cardinals, money line. That's coming back plus money. Brewers, money line. And Kansas City Royals, plus 259. That'll probably actually continue to climb. That's the last game of the night in Major League Baseball. It's the last one to go off between the Royals and the Dodgers out there, Chavez Ravine. So, man, even if you want to wait a little bit longer, public's probably going to lay it thick on the Dodgers the closer and closer you get to that game. So you could even get potentially maybe even a better price than plus 259. That'd be awesome if that hit. That'd be one heck of a way to start the week here on Otter Locks if Otter cashes a plus 259 on KC. That's just about going to do it here for us on After Further Review. Thank you to Luke. Thank you to Paul Musso here in for Moscona. Scone back in the very near future as he continues to recover. We wish him, obviously, a continued speedy recovery. Be back here for 3 o'clock or AFR on Tuesday.
Love telling you about Arco.
AFR.
ARCCO, arco.com, arco.com. That's Arco Power Systems. We talk about generators a lot in Louisiana, especially all along the Gulf Coast, where we're sort of in this storm belt right here in the Gulf Coast. Well, of course, a lot of people have home standby generators. When we talk about Arco Power Systems, these are not home standby generators. This is industrial generator power. This is for your business. I mean, just think about it. When the power goes out, be it a hurricane, an ice storm, snow like we had last year, power goes out. What do you do with your business? Well, being offline is not an option. That's why you need Arco Power Systems. ARCCO, arco.com, arco.com, arco.com. Just look at all the locations. Baton Rouge, Bossier, Harvey, Lake Charles, Mandeville, Mobile, LaPorte, Texas, San Antonio, Little Rock, Houston, Dallas. They're everywhere. So if you're a business and you need standby power for your business, you need Arco Power Systems. ARCCO, arco.com, arco.com, arco.com.